Welcome to Girls Who Talk Goals. I'm Kristy.
I'm Natalie.
And I'm Emilie.
We are creating an empowering community where we inspire each other to step out of our comfort zones
and fill each other's cups one conversation at a time.
We're all just trying to figure out life, so let's go on this journey together.
Let's jump into today's episode.
Welcome back, everyone. Today's mantra is, I view my body without judgment. It's easy to say these mantras, but it's hard to actually believe them when looking in the mirror every single day. I think everybody can relate to this because it's so easy to constantly be judging ourselves.
Yeah, and it's so easy to say all these mantras, and hopefully it's coming across like we're not telling you. We are needing this as well.
Yes.
When we're talking about this, we're needing this today.
Yeah, we're trying to practice what we preach.
Yes.
I think I can speak for most girls when I say our body image issues start young. I don't know about you guys, but I think mine started in like middle school.
Mine did too.
And I think that's when we start to become, especially because that's when we start going through changes, you know, maybe your boobs grow or you start your period, just stuff like that. And so naturally your body just starts changing and you become aware of things.
Yeah. Or other people start changing and then you're not. And then like you're waiting for that to happen and then you can be in your head about it.
I agree.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then boys, like it's getting into the dating area in middle school, I feel like, so.
Or like boys at that age too, like they notice.
Yeah.
Like somebody else is going through that and somebody else isn't. And then they just don't think before they speak, as most middle school boys do. And, you know, they can make you get in your head about that kind of stuff.
Oh, definitely. For sure.
From a very young age. I remember I started getting pimples here and there in middle school, and I was just so self-conscious about it. I'd sit in class with like my hand covering my chin so that nobody could see it. When everyone else had acne too, like I wasn't alone. It's just so, I don't know, just that memory sticks out to me a lot.
Yeah. I feel like I didn't have acne really in high school. It was like when I got to college. Then I started getting it like on, on like my chin was really bad. Even like when I look back, like on my forehead too. And then even today too, luckily I feel like I found a pretty good regimen. I feel like that's working a little bit better for my face now. Mm-hmm. But in the winter, like when I'm not getting as much sun. In the winter when I'm not getting as much sun, my back will break out. Like it's broken out right now too.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never dealt with back acne, but starting middle school, I had bad acne, and it was so weird because it was on and off, and it was totally hormone health or just changes in puberty and whatever. But literally for a decade, from middle school up until a couple years ago, it would go into spurts. And I swear to God, every time I would go to the doctor, it would be like magically better that day. And then they wouldn't listen to me of like how bad it was, or I'd be wearing makeup. And I'm like, you don't understand. And I'm not saying it was a 1 or 2 like pimple. Oh my God, I have a pimple. And it was like 2. It was cystic, awful. And so I tried literally everything under the sun. And finally got on Accutane, which it was a mix of hormone health, which we'll get into. It was a mix of gut health, because I'm now mostly gluten-free, and just have a lot of issues like that as well. And then genetics, because everybody in my family went on Accutane, and there's so many things. And so many people judge you like, oh, like don't, like wash your face, or they'll give unsolicited advice. And I'm like, I probably know more about skincare than you do.
Yeah, it's
like,
it's not as easy as you think.
No, it's awful, and it's traumatizing, because then you have no confidence, or at least I didn't at all.
Right, and I feel like it's easy for people to just look at you and be like, well, have you tried this?
Yeah.
Or why don't you do this? Or, oh, you know, have you... It's like, no, I've tried everything. And I remember watching you go through that too, and you did try everything.
It was sickening.
You tried everything.
I literally tried everything under the sun. Accutane was the last resort for me.
And for some people, I feel like it's a first resort.
Yeah, which is perfectly fine. But for me, I wanted to go through everything. And so literally since middle school, high school... it's so weird because it would go in stages of like it being okay and fine, and then it would get really, really, really bad out of nowhere.
Right.
And so I don't even know why. It's just hormones, I'm assuming, because I've never been regular or anything. Mm-hmm. But I would go to so many dermatologists and get on tretinoin and clindamycin, antibiotics, so many rounds of antibiotics, which then messed up my gut health. Mm-hmm. And so that's huge because I wasn't taking probiotics. So my gut was totally wrecked. And then I would go to estheticians, and one of them had me on microneedling, which is terrible for you if you have acne. Because I still had active at the time, just a couple of spots, even though it was underneath, then spreading the needle, and it was terrible. And then red light therapy, facials, thousands of dollars.
That's crazy.
Insane. I would recommend nobody go to an esthetician. Go to a dermatologist and figure it out. Get on Accutane if you have to, if it's really that bad. If it was like me, it was traumatizing. I would wake up and go to bed crying, which is terrible.
I remember even, too, at the beginning of our friendship, there came a point where I was like, I don't think I've ever seen Natalie without makeup.
Oh my God,
I would see you at 7 a.m. on a weekend, and I'd come over and you would already have makeup on, and I'm like,
there would be no way in hell that I would go anywhere. I would not leave the house without makeup on, even though it's not oh my God, you can't tell. Luckily, Accutane and everything, I am so blessed that it didn't leave me with huge pits in my skin, that my texture is not too bad compared to a lot of other people. And I'll get laser treatments later on. But, yeah, acne is no joke. And I know a couple people going through it. And I just feel because I'm I know exactly. You can't say anything because saying something, and if you bring it up, then they know you're looking at it. It's such a hard topic. But I'm oh my God, I know what you're going through.
yeah,
it's okay. And people looking at me now might not think I went through that. So I want to be very clear. It was awful. It was terrible.
Right. It's weird, too, because it literally hits everybody at different points in their lives. I have friends who are 25 going through it still, and, they just can't figure it out, too. And I had a friend in college, and she went on Accutane. And, also, when you are on that, there's so much other stuff, too, that's happening to your body while you're taking that.
It's terrible for you.
So dry, her lips all of the time and all the things.
The monthly blood draws. It was also super expensive.
Yeah. Yes.
Hundreds a month. I think I spent $500 a month for 8 months. I was literally on it for almost a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
I remember you'd be oh, I think this is my last month, and then you go to your checkup, and they're oh, one more month. You're one more
month. And then but then it was fine, and I was begging not to get off of it because I was on such a low dose. At the very end, they put me on a really low dose. I did a lower dose for a longer period of time. I think other people, because I wasn't super, super dry. My lips were dry, but it wasn't terrible. I was begging. I was please don't get me off this. Because I didn't know how it would be when I got off of it.
Right.
It's terrifying, I'm sure.
Oh, my God.
Because then you don't want to go through all of that again and it come back. And, Alex Earl, I think, talks about that, too.
Yes. Oh, my God,
because she's been on Accutane, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And, it'll still come back in,
Mine was
little
hers,
Okay.
Acne. I watched her YouTube video.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So sometimes it's hard, and it is a process. And,
right. Mine didn't come up until I was 22, I think. And it was weird because it was a year and a half after I got an IUD in. So I don't know if that's what it was or if it was life circumstances or just my age, but I remember it kind of starts slowly. You know, whenever you're around your cycle, you get one here and there on your cheek or on your chin. They're really big and painful. And then it just kept coming, and then those wouldn't go away, and they just kept multiplying. And then I just kept taking photos, progress photos, because at one point I'm oh, this is so bad. Let me take a photo of it. And then I look back 2 months later when it was so much worse, and I'm it wasn't even that bad.
I know.
It's so just debilitating. And it's so frustrating because, like you said, you can try everything, and I went to the dermatologist at one point, begging to get on Accutane because it was just so devastating. And I remember we were on a trip in France, and we went on a boat tour that day, and so we didn't wear any makeup because we were jumping in the water and stuff, and that was when my skin was really, really bad too. And I remember we left, and I was looking back at photos that they had taken of me on the boat, and I just started crying because my skin was just I never posted any of those photos, obviously, but it's but Natalie knows, she understands how that feels, and it's just such a good moment, but ruined by my skin.
I know. And see, I don't even think about that because other people don't see that.
Yeah.
But I thought the exact same thing on our trip before 2 years ago, I guess. when we went to London because that was I think I got on Accutane maybe right when we got back.
Yes, you did.
And so that was the worst point. I was on antibiotics. I was begging. I did telehealth or whatever, an app, and I was like begging just for antibiotics for a month because it was so bad. I would literally, I don't care about my gut. I was like to the exterior, like just please help me with the inflammation. And so that was when I was thinking those things because you're always worse to yourself, of course.
Right.
But nobody else is seeing it as bad as you are or feeling it. But it really is debilitating, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Nobody is paying attention as much as you think they are.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you're picking yourself apart like that. Like, I wouldn't go to the gym in the morning. Before, I had no problem going to the gym in the morning with no makeup, whatever, didn't care. But then once I started getting acne, I would start wearing hats and, like, wearing my hair down almost. And then altogether, I just stopped going in the morning. I would go later in the day once I already had makeup on because I was like... And then it's such a double-edged sword because, like, you don't want to put makeup on to cover it because you know that's so bad, but also... You can't just, like, you can't just let it out.
It's terrible. It is literally terrible. So if any of you are going through that right now, we feel it.
Yeah.
We are with you. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Just get the help you need. Which is also, hold on, because getting the help you need, it sounds so easy. Even with you, Emily, there were doctors, you saw your dermatologist and then you saw your gynecologist because you thought it was the IUD.
Yeah.
The dermatologist told you it was...
The dermatologist told me it was my IUD, and then my gynecologist told me, no, it's not my IUD. It's, like, other factors.
Yeah, and that's the exact same thing that happened to me because nobody has the answer, and everybody thinks different things, of course, in different professions. They have their own expertise or whatever. But that's really challenging itself when you go to the doctor to try to get an answer, and then here you're getting conflicting answers, and you don't even know what's happening.
Right.
You're going to someone who is supposed to be the professional or the expert, but then you're getting different answers from each one. So that's why doing your own research, maybe cutting things out of your diet, looking at your life as well. I see a lot of videos lately, and it's like me going through this stressful moment in my life and where your acne is so bad, but then say you break up with that guy, you stop talking to that one friend that's toxic maybe, and then all of a sudden, like, their skin clears up.
I've also seen that where it's like the place that you live. Like, you're so unhappy with where you're at. And this girl lived in, like, New Jersey, and then she moved to Florida, I think, or North Carolina. And then her skin cleared up, like, everything. It was crazy.
I do think stress is a huge thing. That is a big factor for me. Yes. I spent thousands of dollars literally a couple months ago, maybe 6 months ago at this point, on GI tests, blood panels, hormone, thyroid, everything, because I knew my body is totally wrecked. Like hormones, I've never been regular. I'll have like a 40-day cycle, then a 20-day, and just like random. And so I was wanting to get all of these things. I'd have really bad pains, just not normal. And so I got all these tests done, figured out that I have really, really high inflammation in my skin because of gluten intolerance, and then something within my hormones. They're not doing what they're supposed to, essentially, whatever the technical terms are, I don't know. But, and that was making my acne obviously 10 times worse because of the inflammation, and it all stems from gut health as well.
Didn't you have high cortisol levels?
Super high.
Yeah, because that's a stress hormone.
Yep.
Yeah, and that in itself causes all these other issues.
Yep. Oh yeah,
in your body.
I could literally talk about this for days.
I could too, but the fact is we're 25 or 24, 25, and we've been. I mean, women in general, we battle this for so many years, and I feel like maybe once you get it figured out, then maybe you start having kids. And then that just throws your hormones off. Like, are we ever regular? I just want to know.
Right.
No. And then don't even get me started on the birth control topic. Because people just... I'm not saying birth control is bad. Like, I was on the pill for years. I started, I think, in high school, maybe senior year or something. Because it was they wanted to put me on it to see if it would help my acne.
Yeah.
It never did. I would still have in and out spurts of really bad cystic moments. But I'm like, why did you put me on it just for acne? Like, when there are so many other things. They didn't even mention Accutane as an option, and maybe it was just the person I was seeing. I don't know. There were so many things. I don't think that's the the first step you should take.
First
Especially
resort.
people who are really young, like 13, 14. I don't think that's probably healthy.
When your body is not even developed yet. I mean,
Yeah.
I was 15 when I went on the pill, and then I just got my IUD taken out a couple months ago, and so I was on birth control for almost 10 years. And then you think about you're going through all those developments, and you know your hormones are maybe trying to settle, and you're getting fed all of these fake hormones essentially. And my thing with birth control too, maybe like the pill is some are progesterone based or estrogen based, like all these things, but what if you're naturally producing
More.
high estrogen and then you're getting fed more? Like it just they don't test for anything, they just
Hand
give
it
you
over.
something.
And they
Yeah.
should. They should be
Right.
testing. Like if you go to your annual appointment, if you are getting on birth control or whatever, because I now go see a more, not holistic, he's a medical doctor, but he was practicing for years, and then he saw that he wasn't actually helping his patients because of insurance purposes and all these regulations. So he left, I don't even know what you call it, traditional like hospital medicine or whatever. He started his own practice. So it is more expensive because there's no insurance. It's out of pocket. But he really tries to figure out your issues personalized to you. And so, like if you have any issues, let's run the blood test, let's run the thyroid. Also, when you're looking at the results, instead of it being within level, because I had tests done at a local hospital, it would be in line with the,
Normal range.
normal range. But then if you look close, like he did, it's actually not normal for a 25-year-old female who should be not post or premenopausal like I was on birth control or whatever. I'm like,
Right.
that's not normal. And so it's all these little things. And then when you go to the doctor, my experience has always been, I'm in and out in like 5 minutes. They don't actually run the test.
Yeah.
And I get so frustrated with everything.
And then it makes you just like not even want to go back or like try and figure out the answer sometimes when you're just getting tossed around.
Or it's like, why should I even start talking to you because I know you're not going to give me the time of day.
Exactly.
Like-
and that's sad.
It is.
Oh my God, yes.
Like when I got my IUD taken out, I just wanted to go natural. I want my body to finally not have any hormones, external hormones. And I just wanted to get it out, not go on anything. And that's what I told her. And first thing she walks in, she's like, well, what else are we going to do? Like, what do you want to go on? Or how are you going to? And I'm like, I know I don't want to get on anything. She's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go on
Why
anything.
is that so crazy?
Yeah, but still at the end, she was like, well, if you change your mind, just call and we can just prescribe you something over the phone. Like, thank you, but no. It's like, why can't you just, instead of giving the other option or just pushing birth control again, why don't they just say like, oh, let's talk about natural tracking or something?
Yes.
Natural
like cycles or whatever.
Yes.
Like, let's
talk about
it.
Right, how to track naturally.
That's why I moved from one hospital to another for a OBGYN provider or whatnot, because the one person I was seeing who I was on the pill with, when I mentioned getting, and I have the copper IUD because it's the only form of birth control besides natural cycles that is not hormones. Like there's no hormones in that IUD, even though the other ones say they're isolated or something. I don't know. I just didn't feel comfortable with it. And who I was going to see recommended it. Like they were more natural path. They had the copper one. They always recommended it to their patients. And there's, of course, if you look it up, there's good and bads, literally of everything. So I'll, I don't know if it's the best form.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt. But they were really against it, even talking about it, and they weren't going to do it. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm the patient. I want to talk about this. And so I just went to somebody else, and they were like, okay, well, here's all the information on it. If you don't like it, we'll put you on another thing. But they were so open to hearing me and, like, what I wanted. And I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. This should not be such an issue at all.
But that's how healthcare is.
So
It is.
It makes
Most
me
of
so
it.
mad.
Most of it, yeah. Traditional.
Yeah.
I was on the pill for about 7 years, and my skin was really good throughout, and so I don't know if it actually helped with my acne or not. I mean, how are you supposed to know?
You have no idea.
When you're on that, you don't know what your natural hormones are like after you've been on it for so long. But I know my skin was good, but I just did not like the idea of orally taking the pill and having those hormones flow throughout my bloodstream every day. And so that's why I decided to go get the IUD, because they say it's supposed to be more localized or just less hormones in general. So that's why I ultimately switched. And then after having that for about 2.5 years, I was like, you know what? Why? like, I don't want these hormones in my body, because they say even like natural cycles, you wake up and take your temperature every day, and then that you can track your cycle that way. And so, I mean, why don't they talk about that more? Or why don't they teach that more?
I don't know. I'm so infatuated with, and I know you are as well, of the different phases of the cycle of like, you know, you should be doing this during this part of the cycle. You're going to be feeling, you have a higher temperature at this part of your cycle, which is how the natural cycles, I think, works. You take your temperature, and then depending on where you are at your cycle, I forget the names of it. Oh my God, luteal, follicular, menstrual, and something else. And I've been trying to figure out that, because you're supposed to be doing different exercises. You might be able to lift heavy this time of the month. You might be more fatigued this time. So if you know your body, it's really nice to know what's happening.
That's true.
But I'm so irregular that I haven't even got to that point, because I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
Right.
Still trying to figure that out. But that's the goal.
Dang.
That's the goal.
And I feel like I'm always right on the money. I'm never.
Really?
Yes. Like, honestly, never had any issues.
That's amazing.
I feel bad even saying that.
Oh
but
my
like,
God.
No, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
It's always good. I feel like the only thing that's ever happened to me is when we moved back from North Carolina. And I still don't know why this happened, but I did get the freaking COVID vaccine. And when we moved back, it was like a couple weeks after I had got it. And then like, I had my period for like 30 days. And I went,
oh my God.
Yeah. I went to the doctor, and he was like, oh, well, when did you get your like COVID vaccine? Like, it could just be that. And that was all he said.
Excuse me?
And then it was
How
done.
does that make sense?
And then he was like, just let me know if it keeps happening. I'm like, okay.
You're like, I've been bleeding for 30 days.
Because you're not
know.
on birth control, and so it's not like the pill like is messing with you or something.
Exactly. And I mean, it eventually stopped, and he was like, well, it could have been you moving to and all of these things, which like true. But like when somebody doesn't give you the time of day to like, it was like you were saying, it was like a 5-minute conversation, and then it was done. And then you get billed a bill too for going there. And I'm like, I don't
like
even
an
want
hour.
to pay this, because this was not worth it at all. And you didn't even make me feel any better too by just blaming it on one thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Stress causes your period to not happen or be delayed or something.
Right.
So
Why would?
What?
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
And I'm not saying, hopefully when we're talking about this, we're not being like, oh, birth control is bad, blah, blah, blah. Like, personally, we have our own opinions, but ultimately, I think we're just aggravated with the lack of knowledge or care. Explanation that's given to you when you decide to go on it, or why not, or different forms, or what's going on actually in your body, or taking you as a whole into consideration. Not that it's bad, because it helps a lot of people, obviously.
Yeah, and I think there needs to be like more of a conversation around all of it.
Yeah, and the connection to gut health too.
Yeah.
And hormones. And I wish
all of that matters, and I just feel like we're not educated on any of it, and then you have to like go and do your own knowledge too, but then it's hard to have conversations with people on it, because you know, I have no idea what you're talking about. So
because you've never been on birth control.
Right.
That's crazy.
Which is
That's
awesome.
amazing though.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I just feel like as I've gotten older, I care less about my aesthetic or my body image. Rather, I care more about one, just taking care of my body as a whole, but paying attention more to my hormone health. Like, why am I so tired all the time? Why am I breaking out? Like, why do I not feel good after I eat these types of foods? And paying attention to that gut health. And I don't know. I just feel like as I've gotten older, that has really shifted. But in turn, when you focus on the internal, I think it shows on the external.
I agree.
Maybe your skin is better. Maybe you do get more fit because you're not so consumed with the idea of looking a certain way, rather than you're consumed with feeling good on the inside, and then that shows on the outside.
Definitely.
I think that's totally it. I mean, my acne was terrible inflammation, but I think that stemmed partially from the gut health, like I was saying, and the inflammation and everything. Obviously, I think I would still have it. I think there's a genetic factor, environmental factor. There's so many other things. I still don't have it figured out. But but I feel like, I mean, I'm trying. I'm doing the best. So that's all you can do.
Exactly.
I've really tried to narrow down my hormone health, but in certain ways. So I know waking up and drinking coffee on an empty stomach is not good for you.
I still need to learn that lesson.
I know it just spikes your cortisol levels straight away in the morning. And so and that was hard for me to kick because I'm not hungry when I wake up. Like I just go straight for the coffee and my water. But I started a couple months ago eating something before I put coffee in my system, and I just feel better throughout the day. My energy levels are a little bit higher. I don't know if it's helped my skin at all because my skin has gradually been getting better, thank God, over the last few months. But my stomach, it just feels better throughout the day. So small steps I'm taking.
A big one for me too is I will get so busy and then I'll literally eat dinner at like 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's me.
Not good at all. When I eat at like 5 or 6 and then like I go to bed at 9 or 10, it's just so much better. Like I feel better when I wake up the next day. Yeah. But when I'm eating super late, it's not good.
That's where I am at right now. Because I would go into for decades since high school, I would go into super healthy modes where I was paleo for like a year or something in high school, and I would do these diets, not like diets like, I don't know, keto or whatever, but like super just clean food.
Good diets.
Yeah, it's not even a diet, just like lifestyles, because I would keep them up. But then if I'd get, like right now I'm super stressed and I have so many things going, and it takes time obviously to food prep and meal prep and all these things, and so I'll just eat whatever, not like super bad. I'm still trying to be gluten-free, which has helped my stomach a lot. But I'll just gorge myself at like 8 p.m. because I haven't ate a lot all day. I'll eat 1,200 calories and go to bed. Like, that is not healthy at all. I'll only be getting 1,000, 1,200 calories a day. I'll be losing weight, but that's not healthy. And that's kind of, I go in cycles where it's not necessarily a bad health thing, like totally, because I still try to be cleaner.
Yeah.
But just the stress and the eating when you're busy all day, I mean, it gets to you.
It's hard.
It's really difficult.
There's got to be like thought put into that too about what's your week look like. I need to be better about that. We try to meal prep on Sundays, but like yesterday I was too busy. That didn't happen.
Some weeks it just does not happen, but that's okay. Yeah. That's life. You're not going to be perfect every week.
Mm-hmm.
But what you said, looking at your week and saying like, okay, I know this week's going to be super busy. Let's meal prep like my breakfast so that I'm not rushing out the door without anything. Or let's just meal prep something. Or like for me, snacks. That's the worst thing for me.
I'm a snacker.
Yes. But I want to be able to have healthy snacks and not just, I don't know, reach for the.
You know what I've been loving lately?
Let me just grab a little.
Speaking of snacks.
Is pumpkin seeds.
Those are so good.
They're so good. My gosh.
Are those called like pepitas?
Yes.
Those are super high in magnesium. Those are great for your sleep.
Oh my gosh.
Have you been sleeping better?
Honestly. Now that you bring that up, I think so, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really high in magnesium.
Those with like some yogurts, or sometimes I'll just eat them plain.
Really
that on a salad.
So good.
That's good.
And then I've been on a smoothie kick too. So protein smoothie.
Yes.
I'll do like frozen fruit with almond milk or whatever milk you want to use, and then you blend that all together, and then some people put like a little creamer in it too to make it a little better, like just a little bit, and then you blend that all up, and then to get the right consistency, then you put a scoop of your protein powder in and literally blend it for like 3 seconds, and
I love that.
It's so good. I'll make you guys smoothies sometime. Yes.
I have my go-tos are oats overnight that I shout out. We'd like a sponsorship.
I have some on the top of my fridge.
Yeah. Oats overnight. I love theirs. It makes it super easy. That way I don't have to think about breakfast. And I just have a huge packet that I buy. But then my smoothie, because Emily knows I have nothing in my fridge.
Nothing.
I have nothing at all in my fridge.
Diet Coke.
Don't even listen. I'm not drinking that right now, but you know what? I go in spurts. Yeah, I know that's bad, but I'll go. Smoothies are a big thing, and so I'll get from Aldi's. I'll get frozen strawberries. I'll get almond butter. It has to be the certain brands too, because otherwise it messes with the consistency. I'll get almond butter, almond milk, unsweetened, vanilla. And then what else do I put? Oh, a cup of vanilla yogurt, 10 grams of protein, and Then I put that, and then a little bit of cacao nibs.
So good.
Phenomenal.
I'm getting hungry.
Phenomenal. We
Same.
haven't ate yet. It's 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, we are hungry.
But
I love that though. Just having small things that are your go-tos. That way, whenever you are in a pinch, you know, just like, okay, I can make this really quick, and I love this. You're not trying to come up with a new recipe, you know. But
I will do a certain recipe until I hate it.
same.
Like, I will eat that every day, maybe twice a day.
Yeah.
Until I cannot stand it.
I know.
That is my fault.
You know what I've been eating for like 10 years though, and I'm not sick of it, is eggs and toast for breakfast.
Oh my God.
I'm not sick of it. I've eaten it like every single day. It's actually
I
sickening.
miss eggs. I used to eat so many eggs, like scrambled eggs, but they mess with my stomach.
Yeah.
Do you do like an egg on your toast?
No, I do scrambled eggs with ketchup. Don't come for me.
Oh,
Don't come
my
for me.
God. Andrew is the same way.
It's actually not okay. The added sugar and the ketchup, that's not good. That's not good. But you know what? Don't come for me. It's good. Or salsa if you want to be healthier.
I like salsa, but not ketchup.
Okay. Anyway,
I think people that do that are clinically insane.
I think it's
call me
disgusting.
crazy.
But
Speaking of food too, when I was in high school, and I think like in the first part of college, I was so obsessed with what I was eating. I would obsessively
Same.
count my calories. Yeah, I think most
MyFitnessPal.
girls were. Yes, yeah,
90
exactly.
calories for an apple.
Yeah.
I was obsessed.
Some of those things are just engraved in my mind.
Yeah.
But I was so obsessed with tracking my food and my calories. And you know what's so stupid? So stupid. You know how they say you have to burn more calories in a day than what you eat to be in a caloric deficit? Well, I forgot that there's multiple ways that you burn calories. You know, your metabolic something. There are just a lot of different ways, like at rest, your actual activity throughout the day, and then what you burn at a workout. But I didn't know that. This was back in like high school. And I thought you had to burn that many calories like in a workout. So if you're eating like 1,500 calories a day and you need to burn more than that in a day to lose weight,
That's insane.
I was like, oh, I have to burn like over 1,500 calories in one workout.
That's like, is that possible?
I tried.
She'd be working out for a long time.
Lifting weights for like 3 hours.
Oh
I was
my
doing sprints.
God.
I did it one time and I'm like, there's
You
no.
did it one time?
I tried because I thought that's how it worked.
Oh my God.
So I did it one day and I about died. And two, I'm like, there is no way this is how you lose weight.
It can't be this hard.
It can't be
That's
this difficult.
insane.
It was just, just shows lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just so obsessed with food and how many calories I was eating in a day. And eventually I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I'm so sick of this, because I was literally like starving myself. And for what? Like my body wasn't changing the way I wanted it to. I wasn't growing muscle the way I wanted to because I wasn't feeding it enough. So eventually I just started eating intuitively. And still somewhat making sure I got enough protein at least, but I wasn't so fixated on the numbers. And then once I stopped caring as much is when I actually started seeing like my body started changing the way I wanted, because I was feeding it and I was eating when I was hungry and not just starving myself, basically.
Yeah. I feel like when you do that too, like I've had some friends who have gone on really restrictive diets and it's like no sugar at all, and then they will kill themselves doing that. And like I know I have this one friend, she woke up one night and it was in college and she had been like eating really well and then like went for all of the sweets.
That's
like
me.
killed
Yeah, that's me.
and like
Binge
killed
eating.
herself
Yeah,
and made her
binge eating.
feel so bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you got to give yourself a little bit of grace when you want to do stuff like that. Like don't just hardcore cut it out, but like, you know, just start minimizing it a little bit, or reward yourself after, you know, this time or
it's
at
hard.
this day. Yeah.
It's so hard. In high school, I would literally, if we had pizza for dinner or something, okay, I'd feel so bad about myself. I would go downstairs, my parents' house, to run on the treadmill for like a mile or two, even if it was at 11 o'clock at night. Like I would go downstairs, burn like 300 calories or something doing a run or whatever. Like I was so strict with myself because I was that messed up.
Yeah.
I'm literally just messed up. I've never been more confident now in my skin, but that helped a lot with acne and everything, getting rid of the acne and everything. Yeah, it's not good. It's very unhealthy.
Right.
And I also think it's sadly normal.
Yeah.
It is so normal, especially for girls in I feel like high school. And I was the same way with binge eating. I would restrict my calories so much throughout the day. I think I was eating like maybe 1,500 calories a day, but then I was working out like twice a day, and I was lifting weights and like burning all these calories and trying to build this muscle, and it just wasn't working. And then by the end of the week, or even halfway through the week, after being so strict, my mom, she had this cabinet full of all the junk food in the house, and it was locked. So yeah, she had it locked. And so I would literally go find the key that she hid, and I would go downstairs and I would eat like everything until I was sick.
Yeah.
And I don't know when that stopped, but eventually I was like, okay, we cannot go on like this, because this is not good.
80% almond mom, 20% Cookie Monster.
Yes, I'm like 20% like Thai food. Like that. I got sick last fall. It was actually at Natalie's house. We were hanging out. Kristy, I don't know if you know this story. I would just got done hanging out with my family. We all had Villa Pizza. I think it was around Thanksgiving. And that night I was going over to Natalie's house. Me and Abby and Natalie were all hanging out. And we sat down, started talking, and just got there. And Natalie's like, do you guys want a Diet Coke? And I was like, yeah, sure. But then like the thought of drinking, I was like, I was like, something just doesn't.
Something's happening.
It's like something just doesn't feel right with that. And so they just kept talking, like you can feel your body just like when you're about to get sick, and you're like, you start getting hot, and I'm like, I'm not listening.
In your mouth. It's
Watching them drink Diet Coke, I was like, oh, and just like I stopped listening to what they were saying, and I was like unbuttoning my pants because my stomach just like, and so I'm like, I think I might get sick. And so then I ended up getting sick like a couple times at her house, throwing up. And then
we went to Walgreens. Yeah. Abby and I. And she was in my bathroom for like an hour or two. Mm-hmm. And we were like, okay, we'll go get you some things. We'll be right back.
Yeah. None of it helped. I just threw it all up. But the last thing I ate was Villa Pizza. And that was like my favorite thing at the time. And so, I mean, actually, it might be a blessing in disguise that I threw that up, because since then I'm like...
Well, you still don't like it?
No. Just the thought of it, I'm like...
See?
I tried to eat it once since then, but my stomach it hurt so bad. It was like, no.
But it was like that with tomato soup.
Yeah.
I threw up tomato soup. All my friends... This is like middle school.
Out of all of the things that Natalie could say.
At least it's not super healthy.
She's like, tomato soup.
It's disgusting. Oh, it makes me gag.
If you're gonna throw something up, though, it better be something that is like very unhealthy for you, because it almost makes your life better that you can't eat it. I
feel like if I threw up chocolate or pizza, I think I'd still want it.
Well, I can eat other kinds of pizza, just not Villa.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. We're not perfect.
No,
that's okay.
No,
right.
So hopefully, I'm sure a lot of people listening will be able to relate to all these things. I mean, whether it's from the acne or like the body issues or food issues.
I think having these talks.
Yeah. These are very easy to talk about because I think they're all extremely relatable. Even though, like, Kristy, you were never on birth control, but we were. Like, just having different sides of the story, I think just keeps it relatable too.
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, there should be more of a conversation around it.
And I feel like, especially when we were in high school, looking up to other people, when you think, oh, they have it all, or they have a great job, they look so cute, or they whatever, no acne. First of all, you never know, their photos might be edited or filters on them.
Oh my gosh, that was a huge thing. I feel like high school, college is, what's that one app where you can erase all your acne? What's that called?
Facetune?
Yes, I think that's it. Yeah.
I would use another one. Picture Perfect or Picture 365 or something.
Oh yeah, I'd use those.
But
don't want that.
Yeah, so first of all, if you're looking at other people, don't even look at photos. They might be edited.
Yeah.
And then 2, don't think that they have their shit together, because they don't. I don't even know if anybody does.
Nobody does.
No. So I like talking about this, and hopefully if you are younger or older or our age or whatever, that it's just more relatable. Like, we're all in this together, and let's talk about it openly, because I think it really helps other people. When, like I said, when I was in high school, I'd look up to other people thinking, oh, they have it all or something. They would never understand what it is like to go through traumatic cystic acne. It's like, honey, They probably have.
Right.
You don't even know.
Right. Or maybe they have an eating disorder or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you have
no idea.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have no idea. We all struggle with something at some point.
Yes. So let's just talk about it. And I love opening up like this.
Yeah, I do too. Especially because, I mean, it's just it's not as talked about. Especially, I feel like when we were in high school, it was not as open just because social media wasn't as big of a thing as it is now. Yeah. But even with social media, following these like fitness models and stuff like that, you know, maybe they have an eating disorder. You have no idea.
To be like that, you have to have some kind of, I don't want to say eating disorder, but that's not realistic long term. You might be like doing a show or something for the fitness models, and that is so strict, but that's not sustainable long term. So
no,
like I know I've always been self-conscious about my lower belly because I always have like a little pooch or something.
Oh, we all do.
I know, but that's normal, and I would always be self-conscious about it and wear like one-piece swimsuits, even though I'm still a one-piece swimsuit kind of girl. But I'd always be so self-conscious, and it's like that's actually our bodies. We naturally have like a little tummy.
Women do.
It's like protecting your
uterus.
Yeah, I remember too. I used to hang out with this senior girl. She was on the volleyball team. I was a freshman. I looked up to her, and she said that her mom told her that one day, and she told me that. So like just hearing it from somebody too who's older than you, you know, and who just shares that with you. Like not everything is perfect.
No. I remember, so I grew up swimming competitively, and the one pieces that we would wear, they would come up really high on your hips. And I remember, I don't know how old I was, but it must have been middle school. I remember the first time I saw stretch marks on my thighs, and oh my God, you would have thought somebody just died, because I was just hysterical over it. Because back then, you associate stretch marks with like weight gain and all that stuff, which when you are that age, you are gaining weight, you are growing, you're getting bigger. And two, with swim, I have bigger thighs naturally, and back then they were just, the swimsuits coming that high up, those thighs were on full display. And so those stretch marks were also on display, and I was just, nobody else was noticing that, but I did, and it was devastating. But that is literally growth. That does not mean, it's not, I don't know. It's not something to be self-conscious about.
No. Yeah, or ashamed of by any means.
Exactly.
Like
it's just natural.
Mantra. You view your body without judgment.
Exactly. It is what it is. It's always changing. It's ever changing, especially women's bodies.
Yeah. But just to remind ourselves, have some grace.
Yeah. We're doing the best we can.
We're doing the best we can. Everybody else is too.
Yeah.
But I hope you guys just
know that the conversation is normal, and to be talking about this more often. And like if you have a story or something to share with us too, or like you found something that works for your acne or your gut health that you would love to share, we would love to hear that. So if you want to message us on Instagram, we would love that.
Yes, that'd be amazing.
And sharing personal stories. And they can be anonymous. We won't share them or something if you don't want us to, but let us know what you're going through. We've probably gone through something similar.
Right. It's all relatable. We're all going through it, but
yeah, it's all intertwined.
It is.
So we hope you have a fantastic week, and we will talk to you next time.
See ya.
Bye.